In this video, I want to cover a typical use case around expense management. Think about your consultants traveling, or really anybody in the organization that reports expenses for reimbursement. So imagine you're traveling, you got your Starbucks or dinner or anything that gets you a receipt. Typically, what do? Throughout the trip, you make a nice pile of receipts, and then at some point, maybe weeks later, somebody yells at you because you are late on your expense reports. Eventually, you report your expenses. Now, think about this alternative. You just got a receipt. Right there, you take a picture, maybe with your phone, and you send it by email to a very specific email address. This is a rinse and repeat. You do the same with every single receipt throughout the trip. Now, that email triggers a chain of events in Salesforce, including Agentforce reading it. If you look at it, here we have somebody taking a picture, sending the email, and there is an email service that we have set up in Salesforce. And then through a trigger flow, we are listening to a platform event. We create an email message, create a content document, and of course, in the same flow, we have Agentforce reading that attachment, creating what we will call receipt and receipt items, and we will send an email to you kind of to confirm that we got that receipt. Now, that's not all. When your trip is done, well, all you need to do is assign the expenses to the right project. And you have options here. So you can do it through the Salesforce UI, and we have an old-fashioned LWC to do that. You can call an agent and get an agent to help you, and you can do that through Salesforce, or maybe you can do it through Slack. But now, with the Salesforce-hosted MCP servers, we can do it somewhere else. We can do it through Claude. And let's say that I'm not even connecting to Salesforce. You probably heard of Headless 360 these days. Well, this is one real example of that. So let's look at it. Let's say that I have a receipt for parking for $28.99, and this is phone, computer, wherever I'm working from. The idea is to send this parking receipt by email to, again, a very particular email address. I call it CLD expense, just to keep track of it. And this is super important because, of course, there is some setup that goes in Salesforce that is tied to this email address. In my Salesforce org, I have an email service set up, a platform event, a flow, and of course, a prompt template that orchestrates all this. So let's go ahead and send this. So if I'm in Salesforce, I can go to the UI and work there. You can see here this first line is the one that I just sent. I got a receipt and a receipt item automatically created simply because I sent that receipt by email. Think about it. Your accounting team now has a clear visibility of what's coming for reimbursement, for cash flow planning, and you have a nice staged area with all what's pending your action. So here I could itemize. I'm not gonna do that in this case, but I can go ahead and assign this to projects, and I can even go ahead and create my expense reports. More AI can be added to a lot of these actions. That's not the point of today's use case though. So let's say that I'm not on Salesforce, like I don't log into Salesforce. I work on Claude all day, I'm there all the time, I don't want to go to Salesforce to do this. Well, I can do all what this UI is doing actually from Claude. So here I am in Claude. I have a project set up especially to manage expenses. So for example, I can ask, do I have receipts pending project assignment? And Claude starts thinking, and as you can see here, it goes through, well, all the thinking process, and you'll see here in a second, like it's gonna go through the org to actually try to find the answer. So it's loading all the tools, and if we keep looking at this, like we'll see that. So here in Claude, I have a project set up especially to manage expenses. So for example, I can go ahead and ask, do I have receipts pending project assignment? So if you recall, like we send the receipt by email, that created automatically the receipt and the receipt item. Agentforce behind the scenes helped us do that. But at this point, I want to assign that receipt to a project. So you can see Claude is going through some of the tools that this MCP server connection has set up and made available to Claude. And here you can see how Claude came back with the response. It tells me that I have this one, which is the one that we just created a moment ago, pending assignment. And it also tells me that I have a couple more that are ready for an expense report. And let's say that I don't remember my projects. I don't know where I can assign this. Well, I can go ahead and ask. I can say, for example, which project can I assign this receipt to? And then again, like Claude is going through the org, it's connected to the Salesforce org and is trying to find the projects where I'm allowed to enter expenses, and it's going to come back with that answer. So here, Claude is telling me that I don't have any time during the week of that receipt, but I have some time like in my prior weeks. So it tells me a couple of the projects, and let's say that I want to split. Let's say split this receipt between let's say Tivoli and Claire, 50-50. And let's see what it does with that. It comes back, it tells me that it did the split. I have some logic in there to handle rounding as well. And I'm gonna say, yes, go ahead and do it. Well, I could from here create my expense report and even submit it, but I won't do that today. I think by now you get the point. Like, send an email with a receipt, let Agentforce handle creating receipts and receipt items. Then through the UI that makes more sense for you, for your use case, keep going with the expense reporting process. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for a future video where we will show the same interaction, but maybe through an Agentforce agent and maybe from Slack. Today we wanted to show you going either through the Salesforce UI or Claude using the Salesforce-hosted MCP server. But yeah, I hope you liked it. And for more use cases like this, visit our repository at cldpartners.com. And if you want to chat about your specific use cases, feel free to send me a message. Thank you for watching.